80% of the direction the ball starts out in is caused by where the club face is pointing. Okay? Where the club face is pointing. They used not to say that. They said it was caused by the path of the club. But now they're saying 80% of the direction the ball starts out in is caused by where the club face is pointing. So what does that mean to you? Wherever that ball's starting out in, you've got to match up where that target and that club face. If your ball's starting to the left, everybody says, I'm coming over top of the ball. That's not true. That's not true at all. It doesn't have to be true. It could be. But your ball's starting to the left because that's where your club face is pointing. Okay? If the ball starts out to the right, you know, everybody used to think, well, I'm swinging way out to the right. Well, no, you can swing way across it and lay that club face open enough, and it's going to go way to the right. So it's where that club face points. Okay? Now, what causes the ball to curve? The difference between the path and the club face angle. The ball will always curve away from the club path. Most of you get a little cutter out there, little slider to the right, little slice. Okay? That ball's curving to, now you're a right-handed golfer. Okay? That ball's curving to the right. That means your path is from the outside in. Now, that ball may start to the right. Why did it start to the right? Because the club face was pointed and gone further right.
Right.
But it went further right because you were cutting the path. It's going to curve away from the path all the time.
Can you show us what outside in or inside out?
Yes.
Another club, maybe?
No. Okay. This is your target line. Okay, this little seam here. This is your target line. I'm going to try not to break that pretty computer. This is your target line. By the way, the golf ball doesn't know where your target line is. It's got no clue. This is your target line. If the club face is pointed at that target line and coming down that target line as it hits the ball, that ball's going to go straight. We wish we could all do that. Tour players do. Mark and I was talking to Mark over there about a friend of mine. He's figured out how his ball don't curve anymore, and his bank account keeps growing.
Rousey and friends with Russ Cochran, you guys solid champions.
Russ won almost $1.8 million this year. Hello. But if this was the target line and the club face, the club path was cutting to the left, okay? Was cutting to the left. Maybe if you've got one more club, that might help. If the club is cutting to the left, okay, that ball is going to curve to the right. It may start out over there. It may start out over here. But I'm just going to put this down so it's just a little bit easier to see maybe. If I had more room, you all want to do it from here, but unfortunately I can't. So if it's cutting this way, from outside the target line to inside the target line, that ball's always going to curve to the right. Let's just basically say the club's going right to left. Okay? That's what average poor players do. Good players very seldom do that. Myself, my club comes from inside too much and goes outside. And I chase, because I've got enough ability to say, wait a second, Ralph, you got the club, subconsciously got the club coming out this way. Well, what do? You hear the term now flipping, because I've hit so many golf balls, got eye-hand coordination. I know that club face is pointed over there, so what do? I started back out at the target, and what's my golf ball going to do then? Because the club is pointed at the target, the ball's going to go straight, start out straight, but because it's coming from so right to left, it's got right to left spin, and I am very friendly with left rough. Left bunkers and I are gotten to be pretty well acquainted, okay? So those are the facts. That the ball, 80% of the direction the ball will start out in is caused by where the club face is pointed, okay? And the curve of the ball, if we're cutting across the ball from, let's say, right to left or outside in, the curve of the ball will be to the right, always will go away from the path. If it comes from the inside out, or right to left, it's gonna curve right to left. Okay? Well, that's great to know, but who really knows? What good does that do you? How do we correct that? And this is gonna end up my little deal here. I give everybody 2 drills, okay? I do these drills myself. I give them to virtually everybody. You've seen these drills. You don't even know you've seen them, but you've seen them. And the first one is, I'm gonna have to move this around a couple times. I call this drill 1. It's simple because they gotta have a number. Doesn't matter if they go in any direction or whatnot. But how many times have you watched on TV and you've seen guys on a tour making these little half swings like this, right? You know, if you catch them, somebody standing on the side, you'll see them doing this all the time. Well, to me, they're doing drill 1. And what are they doing with drill 1? Here's my target line again, if you can see that. But basically, when your left arm is parallel to the ground, if you're a right-handed golfer, be the other a right arm if you're left-handed, you want to make sure the butt of the club is pointed at that target line. Okay? The butt of the club is pointed at that target line. And if you all watch back there, just think about it. If we swung the club back, and you know now I'm trying to hit the ball down this line. If we swung the club back here, come on, now we're going to get that thing straight. Or if we took it way out here, come on, you know, you're going to have to reroute it. Guess what? You can't do it twice in a row. You might hit 2 or 3 good shots, but you're going to be over there with me in the left rough, or we're going to wear the cart out because you're so far right we don't ever get to see each other because you have to reroute it, and that's why it's too hard to do. Who's a baseball fan here? Anybody a baseball fan? Great counsel. Second baseman for the Brewers.
Brewers right now.
Right? We're the Brewers right now, so we do have a baseball fan. I use him as an example, and he's a baseball guy. What does that mean? When he was, he played second base with the Diamondbacks when they won the World Series, and he was the guy that had this crazy old batting stance without me poking something. You know what I'm talking about now?
Yep,
Okay?
still does.
So when he was 22, he could hit, you know, his batting average was up here. Every year he got older, batting average was sliding quickly. Okay? Why would that be? Because as he got older, his eye-hand coordination wasn't as good. He couldn't make those adjustments fast enough. So all of a sudden he got to making, Milwaukee picked him up for next to nothing. He completely changed his batting stroke, right, to where he went from here right to the ball. You know, he was on plane, on line, or whatever, and he could do that repetitious. You know, in baseball, you only, if you hit 3 out of 10, you're a hero. And you know what? Put another $15, $20 million in that guy's pocket because he didn't have the speed, timing, or, you know, as he got older. Now, and that's why when I started this thing off, I said, if you watch these young guys play, you can't tell who's who. But they're much more consistent. And also, why do they hit it so much further? Well, it's a new equipment. There's no question about that. They're more athletic. But, my opinion, when we used to play, we had the club in funnier spots, odd-looking swings. You know, Dave Brewer had it out here. You know, all the, you know, you took, yeah, you know, and they relied on timing. So we had to kind of slow the club down to get the club face back and get everything lined up, you know, make sure Jupiter and Mars were in the right place so we could hit it straight. So, to go back again, just to make this game easier, when you swing back, if we can get this shaft pointed right at that target line, and by the way, we're going to swing our club in a circle, and we're going to swing in a circle. You can see where I'm swinging in a circle. It's a tilted circle because the ball's not up here. Over there, it's a side-on game. Game's over here, so we swing on a circle or an angle. Well, how do we know what angle to swing on? Well, we don't have to decide. The club does. Whatever the angle of this club is, it's obviously going to work better at this position. If it worked better up like this or down here like this, as engineers, we already decided they're pretty smart cats. They would have designed it that way. So it just makes sense if we have to swing this club on this angle, that the more often it's on this angle, the easier it is going to be to repeat. So if we just swing back, you can see it's on that same angle. You know, if this was, right, you can see it's pretty much the same. So if you'll just do this little drill, swing back, when your left arm's parallel to the ground, if you're right-handed, let's call it your lead arm, make sure the butt of the club points right at the target line. Well, if you're swinging in a circle, what happened on this side of the circle has to happen over here. And you can see we're swinging on that same angle again. We're working on how to winterize your game. You can just swing. Make sure it points down at the target line. Everybody knows what the target line is. Target line is the line that goes from your target to your ball. Okay? That's going to help you get the path down. So now, how to get the ball in the air, we got to drive center of gravity of the club underneath center of gravity of the ball. Got that. We got the ball in the air. Okay? Now we want to hit it further. How do we hit it further? We turn our body a little bit more. Make sure we turn. You know, if you watch it, my baseball fans, that baseball player, if you watch him hit that ball, that chest or belly button's facing at the pitcher where they hit it. Well, same way in golf. Get this turn, face that target. Okay, that's going to help us get a little more speed. Well, we decided that the curve of the ball was caused by the path of the swing. Well, how do we correct that? Real simple. Just do this little drill. Swing back halfway, left arm parallel to the ground, butt of the club, should point at the target line. Ed's been over to see me. I got a little plain board. I took a laser pointer, bought it at Radio Shack, dug out the end of a grip, stuck it in there, so when you swing back, you know, you can see where it's pointed. I'll sell you one for $100. Okay, and again, if you swing in a circle, what happens on one side of the circle has to happen on the other, so on your follow-through, it should be the same. So maybe just go out this winter, or, you know, before you play, take a little practice swing. Train yourself in your practice swings. So now, now we've got ball up in the air, generate a little more speed, and we got the path down. What's the last thing? How do we get the club face pointing in the right direction? Well, first thing I'm going to tell you, the good Lord built all of you for success. You're going to help yourself down there at the bottom. One of the biggest problems people have in golf is they have ability. What do I mean by that? They make 2 or 3 mistakes on the way back in their swing and make 3 or 4 more on the way down trying to correct, and they can't do it twice in a row. So my point is, if we, on that same point, if we can get the club path, train ourselves, then all we're going to do is worry about generating speed. We're trying to help ourselves.